Hey Vijaya, how are you? Nice to see you. Okay. Nisha, we can't see you. Nisha, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Nisha.
Yeah. Hi, Jen. Vijaya. How are you?
Good, good, good.
I think, yeah, you can start now. All the discussions are ready. So after your presentation, they will talk. Okay.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm going to present this note, paper note, without any delay. I'm going to read this all. Yeah. Okay. Film festival is a universal platform for every human being to present their untold and unheard raw stories from their lenses. Film festival is a cosmos of art, culture, and race. Get back to the history of film festival. The first film festival was held on 1932 under the fascist dictator Benito Mussolini, realizing new art forms like movies have played a significant role in the artistic expression and medium for fascist propaganda. After post-World War II, the Italian neorealism film movement changes the condition of every life of the people who have to suffer from poverty, oppression, injustice, and depressions. In the context of women in Nepalese cinema, the first Nepali language cinema is Satya Harishchandra is produced in Calcutta and released on September 14, 1951. The officially released first Nepalese cinema is Ama in 1964, produced by the Information Department of Nepal government. Until the date, Nepali cinema was only sowing seeds. When Nepali cinema is sprouting in 1971, India much admired the popular actor Devananda introduced in Nepal with his movie Hare Rama Hare Krishna. This blockbuster movie has grabbed the Nepalese heart and built the artistic value of art among Nepalese citizens. It also introduced Nepal is also filming destination among international film critics. It is assumed immediate late King Mahendra Bir Bikram Sahadev invited Devanand to shoot this film in Nepal and facilitated him as indeed. After this popularity, Bollywood has slowly shown interest. Bollywood esteemed actress Mala Sinha was launched as a lead actress under the Nepali banner in 1996 with the title Maiti Ghar. At this time, I saw the beginning. The leading role of the female artist in Nepali cinema begins, later followed by other artists are Meenakshi Anand, Tripti, Teni Dengjompa, Gulshan Grover, and more. The artistic singer and their beautiful voice to uplift Nepali cinema are Asa Bhosle, Ghulam Ali, Udit Narayan Jha, Sadhana Sargam, Kumar Sanu, Kavita Krishnamurthy, Sonu Nigam, Shreya Ghoshal, and more. Their contributions are greatly meaningful to the local audience. The admirable inspirations of Indian cinema called to create a space for Nepalese artists in Bollywood. Manisha Koirala is a veteran artist of Indian cinema holding a Nepalese passport by keeping her nation name high in art and cinema was marvelous. Another esteemed nation artist whose name cannot be missed in their present scenario are Bhuvan Chand, Santi Maske, Basundhara Bhusal, Chaitanya Devi, Subhadra Adhikari, Susma Sahi, Meenakshi Singh, Sarmila Mallak, Karishma Manandhar, Christy Moinali, Gauri Malla, and Mithila Sharma. These artists are the treasure of Nepal in the artistic endeavors and also the pure as a dewdrop inspiration of Nepali cine society as women. During the rise of Nepali cinema of the immediate era, Nepali cinema has lost decade-long year of Mao's civil war, which is from 1996 to 2006, in irony. Eventually, it has stopped all the development and started destruction mostly by the entire permanent artists into the outer world. And regarding world cinema, comparing with Nepalese film industry, customarily throughout community is still pessimistic. In a contemporary situation, also few percentage only realize the power of cinema and art. There is because of poor education and lack of guidelines from the government of Nepal. There were said of evidence of female artists with suicidal case after being depicted with depressing public image. According to the Swiss media web portal, swissinfo.ch, April 19, 2006, by Anand Chandrasekhar, Nepalese film was ready for the big stage after the Civil War. There was not much more time for cinema and popcorn during the violent Maoist insurgency in Nepal. The country's young filmmakers are now making a splash at a Swiss and other international film festivals with their personal stories of struggle. 2015, Kalo Pothi, The Black Hen, the highest grow acclaimed. From 2000, ice has broken in technical field. Suchitra Shrestha come up as a first director and cinematographer. Raksha Singh Rana came as a first editor. Since then, film schools have started to open. The government has been creating conducive environment for art and culture. There has been always a topic of discussion on the women empowerment of different subject of the different profession of women, but always been confusion. What does human right and woman right means? Have anyone dared to speak about that? Men already empowered from the evolution on this earth commercially and traditionally. Everything in the universe is incomplete without the participation of women. Otherwise, natural system will pause automatically. Throughout his life, when it comes partially that women have been excluded from the world group and they are supposed to be interfere to men. So here is the board prospect of the discussion, but the point of the topic is how long it will take till women are equally involved in the cinema industry like men. Opportunities and challenges women in cinema. The opportunity behind the woman in cinema is how much she experience in cinema. According to the 2018 MPAA theme report, women are made up to 51% of movie goers last year, a slight increase from 2017, and 47% of ticket buyers. They also comprise the majority of PAL TV, 52%, and online subscription, 51% viewership. In the context of Nepali cinema, there has always been male representation in the movie theater. Sending a female to the cinema hall is just like a taboo. If a woman wouldn't experience in film, then the rate of the participation of women in cinema will not be increased. The positive aspect of the sincere recent invention of smartphone are easy access for every woman for the artistic development. Again, back to my queries at the beginning is how long it takes me not to have this kind of brochure, like this kind of women in cinema brochures in my hand, or it might take less amount of time or fewer years. That means the future is, of course, bright. Here is an example. In the southeastern region, the outdoor shooting was supposed to witness only by women. Women were not willing to take a part because of being abused in the crowd, or it might not be her need or responsibility. Since the advent of smartphone, it arrives in every home and every hand. Okay, talking about social media, TikTok is a perfect example of the current scenario. It has made the mother cinematic, the daughter cinematic, and the child cinematic. And there are no limits or restriction to freedom of expression at any of its highest level. It just needs a mobile and access of internet. If it's about women in cinema, women are dancing, acting, and posting on social platform, then they are powering out their creation from their consequences. For the critics of cinema, no one has to mention a renowned big name. It is not about being a Steven Spielberg. If your son will not take a photo of you or click a video of you, your daughter does it for you, and she has smartphone. She has a smartphone and internet. On the top, there are billions of people who are waiting for critics and comment. It might it might be a great topic that so many grandmothers have been great critic as a I have recently seen in YouTube videos and with million of views, and grandmother has to present her critics on that video with her young granddaughter. What I mean is a grandmother were also exposing themselves in social media in a cinematic way. In recent timeline, millions of pictures and videos are uploading by females of females for females and viewed by millions of female than the big big budget films. It has only happened in social media. The YouTube viral video Baby Shark Dance recorded 746072989 viewers with 23 millions likes made by women. Talking about the monetization and exposure of the woman of Shark Dance, she can make hundred of video after one viral. She is making handsome money because editing features and other video accessories are included in the smartphone. This kind of viral video reach reach to the universities to get proper education. Out of the many, they will be a good filmmaker, or if not, they will be a good film lover, which was not a scenario of the past as I interpret in previous line. So the future is bright for a woman in cinema. What I believe is social technology and media are unknowingly empowering women in cinema through the digital world. In another context, count females as an audience. The participants of females as an audience is equal to men or even more in films and social media. So involvement is strong enough than men. There has been a lots of social media going viral for stardom, fame, and being celebrities. And almost all the titles are won mainly by women. Women in cinema and Asian culture and myth. If we are seriously talking about Asian cinemas, the involvement of women, there has a myth about caste and race. The history of ancient theater art is also for so-called outcasted or outlaw men, women. There has always been a sense of entertainment with female bodies to objectify as entertainment. In other scenario, there have been so many assumptions where whether or not someone might be a victim of casting couch or someone has to lay down because it is a part of it. So every parent always creates a wall saying that this is not a profession of for any females. It is believed that in South Asian culture, if anyone who is not successful choose cinematic life. Theatre art has always been portrayed as a symbol of negative for women. If anyone physically tag a word negative, then one female art is disapproval to another female. Religion and cinema. Religion never stopped any work for women, but social values of society's community it does. As we as we acknowledged about the particular religion in is also allowed to make their line of stories from the win of and won the international award from the leading film festival. In the meantime, we can discuss the alpha woman of society. For example, the popular porn artist Sonny Leone has established herself in the Bollywood industry as an actress. She has 40 million Instagram followers and doing great regarding her professions. She knew that from the technological advancement, she is capable of transforming her voice for the change. Through 90% of porn industry has been exposed females are submissive. It is it is sorry, that we are in discussion with men sitting talking about women in cinema. Thank you.
Thank you, Nisha. During
Thank
this
you.
COVID and your father's illness, you have given us some time to speak about your papers, and you prepared the papers. I'm sorry, but our prayers and thoughts for you. Please
Thank you.
um, be strong, okay?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
You can stay online or you can leave if you want.
I can stay for a few minutes.
Okay, all right. So, but we will continue our show with your paper. So if you need to go to hospital, you can rush, but still you can stay here.
Yeah,
No
sure.
problem. Thank you. So now I would like to request Bijoy Jene. Um, she's an actress, national award-winning actress from India, and very popular in Dhaka Film Festival. She has visited our festival 2-3 times. Nisha also came 2-3 times. So Bijoya, we are waiting to hear something from you. Bijoya, thank you.
Yeah. Hello. I'm so sorry that because of the pandemic, I'm not able to be there in person. But I would always love to be part of this wonderful film festival, which has such an important focus on women. And last time, I think we spoke about women in cinema in general. And it's my pleasure to elaborate on certain points which Nisha touched upon. I would like to say that the female artists are portrayed very badly, mostly all over the world, because we have been part of a patriarchal society till Ibsen wrote his Doll's House. So even in Europe or in America, women have been always, treated as a object of pleasure. But at the same time, because women constitute, as Nisha said, 51% of the viewers and 50% of the almost half of the society. So we have to give a lot of importance to the women's, stories, and which told by women, because when a man tells a woman's story, then it's a different point of view, and they would do it the way they would like to say. So women have been always in the, wanting to tell their stories. Even we have Nati Binodini, who from Calcutta, who acted in drama when it was banned by society to accept women actresses. So Nati Binodini was very revolutionary, and she acted in drama, and she played all kinds of roles like Sita and mythological roles. Even Ramakrishna Paramhans came to see her show. So it's a woman, if patronized by a rich man, like in case of Nati Binodini, she had a rich, godfather who, helped her bring her talent to the stage. And later on, she had an admirer who built, theater for her. So we have such unique women over the time since last 100 years, even Jaddan Bai, Nargis mother, and then we had many women directors. Jaddan Bai was a film director. So women have been there, but they have been very rare. And as Nisha says that with this advent of the smartphones, women are making their telling their own stories. I wouldn't, of course, say TikTok is not cinema, but at the same time, women have access to smartphones, and they can make small videos and tell their own stories. Even a place like Afghanistan, where recently we awarded a film called Hawa, Mariam and Aisha. The documentary filmmaker Sara Karami, she has made a wonderful film, story of three women, very simply told, three women and their stories and how their plight of the in the society, but how they are so strong to overcome that. And there are women in Afghanistan who write poems according to their society. They're not supposed to write poems, but they write poems, and they uh, uh, tell the publishers outside of Afghanistan on the phone, and they write down, pen down. So if you have a strong will, and you can do overcome such situations, of course you need to be supported by your family members or your male members of your family, and then you can definitely do it. As far as casting couch, you said, it has been there in India, and still it is there. And I'm a victim of the casting couch. In fact, I came from a film school, one of the best film schools of the world, trained as an actress, but I suffered casting couch, so I did not get any roles. But I didn't give up. So what I did is, my family supported. I directed my first film, Tara, which got a national award. So you need patronization, basically, and the state funded me. My state government funded for my film Tara. So we need such strong women. We need to encourage them, and we need to encourage them to tell their stories. Of course, feature film is very expensive, so you require state funding. At the same time, you right now with the digital platform, you can make small short films on your iPhone or whatever. I mean, it's really a revolutionary thing that we are in a digital age, which is become very, very cheaper, and people are telling their stories, short stories. And recently we had a filmmaker from USA. She has a festival. She was with me on the jury in Herat Film Festival, and she did festivals by women uh, made by iPhones. So I think it's a fantastic thing that there's many women. The film festivals are getting cultural funding, and they are doing such things, and it's a wonderful situation we are in. And but at the same time, I would say the viral videos you are talking about, Nisha, you are talking about, if we may tell short films and stories, or even like I do masterclass on video, and that can teach women, and that can, anybody can access YouTube and learn filmmaking. You don't have to go to a film school, which is very expensive, but you can. I mean, there are a lot of women filmmakers and who do masterclasses, and they are available on YouTube. And anybody anywhere in a remote country like Nepal, you can access such videos, and you can learn. I mean, you can learn like you learn storytelling from literature, and you can learn from viral videos. So, I mean, I think it is a wonderful situation we are in, and we can make films. Women can make films on short films, and tell their own stories. And who can be better? I mean, than women themselves to tell their plight in the society. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijaya, for your kind deliberation. I would like to request Professor Kishore Kamal to share your thoughts with us, please.
A very good morning to Miss Nisha Shrestha and all my fellow speakers, friends, compatriots, volunteers, and our friend from India, Vijaya. young volunteers, Ahmad Mustafa Jamal, the president of Rainbow Film Society. This is our second session today, and I kind of butted in. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here, though not in a position to talk much about it because we have all the film experts, filmmakers, film critics here. But my little observation about it was what Miss Nisha Shrestha was talking about in her keynote paper does basically and very strongly echo the scenario in our country, fortunately or unfortunately. I wouldn't say unfortunately, because these impediments, the challenges, they help us being strong, self,
Yeah, yes, yes.
yeah, and strong-willed. Yeah, absolutely. And Ms. Vijaya was also talking about free will, but she did add something which we all think about the support of the family. I mean, no matter what the adversaries in life, well, I'm not being feministic. It could be for a man, it could be for a woman, but for us as women, as I said, the impediments, the scars in life, the challenges, the obstacles have strengthened us to be self reliant, which is why we are all here today. And today, mostly all our, I mean, majority, I would say, not majority, I think 50%. Ahmad is giving me very strong glances. Yeah, 50%. And
Yeah.
thank you very much for being here today, all of you, because this is the women in cinema, but then we have the men also with us, walking alongside together. Whatever it is, all enterprises need to be supported by everyone. And yes, and Nisha also mentioned about the advantages we have through the mobile and the internet, which has made things very simple, much easier and simple without, I mean, we can just do it independently, especially the short films. And that's about all. I have not much to add. And another thing, the scenario, I mean, it's just a repetition about the taboos, the taboos that are entangled with this profession, be it acting, be it dancing. And of course, for filmmakers, it's a bigger challenge as it was chosen as the last resort when doors are closed everywhere else. But I think things are changing now with, in the sports arena, in the film industry, in the cultural arena, and other places. Women are making a breakthrough. And we have here Shamim Akhtar, another filmmaker. I mean, as we were discussing this morning, she hasn't done too many, but whatever she has done has left a landmark for us and for our younger generations to continue. I would thank you all for your presence here and for your encouragement and support and Rainbow Film Society in the seventh conference on international conference on women in cinema. And thank you for being with us, Miss Vijaya and Miss Nisha. Thank you very much.
Professor Kishore Kamal, who is our chairman of the festival committee of the Dhaka International Film Festival. Her support is also, I mean, very vital, and her support is very strong inspiration for me to organize all these things. Since the festival started in 1992, she had a big role. In fact, where we are standing today, most of the credit goes to our chairman, Professor Kishore Kamal. Thank you, Kishore Kamal, for your nice word. And now I'd like to request filmmaker Shamim Akhtar, who has made some films, but I can remember two films from her. These two about our independence war. One is Itihash Kanda, Daughter of History. Another one is Shila Lipi. I think is Shila Lipi. What is the inscription? Anyway, these two films, wonderful. By I really loved it. I mean, she made two films for our Liberation Award because Liberation War movie. I mean, Independence War movie. I mean, we have some, but they're not mentionable, not lot. As a female director, she has done excellent job. That was very most important thing. So, Tamim Akhtar, please come forward.
Thank you so much, all of you. It's a cold morning, but I feel warm inside with all of you here. It's wonderful to see all my comrades and friends on the stage, and also the I had been here yesterday also, but somehow it feels much better today because somehow I think there was an apprehension as to how since we had started resuming our old work with regard to this situation with the considering the situation, so this social distancing and all that had been impending, um, somehow the impediments have been overcome mentally somehow. I would just say that this before I come to Nisha, thank you so much, Nisha, and also Deepjani for giving us this, the insight into how the festival evolved over time. If I if I would like to just recall that the first woman filmmaker, she has been we have been become oblivious of these names. She had made films soon after Lumiere brothers had made their first debut, The Train, and in those days there was the films were as short as the reels which were available in those times, and the camera would really burn up somehow, would get hotter. In those days, Guy de Blache, Alice Guy Blache, she had made the first film back in 1896. There were many more women who came in. Laura Weber, who was no less known than Griffith in those times, and she had, risen to a position of the director, most, I mean, who not only made good films but also was, wanted all over in those days till the studios came to stay. The studio system of, I would say that as capitalism took over, and then we found that the women who had really made their space into the world of films had started disappearing because the men took over because they would make very films, whatever the story was, whether carefully crafted or not, but they were the productions were very fast, and the demand, the rising, the scenario of the cinema and the cinema halls, increasing in number, all those somehow made space for the men to take over. Little did we know that when Salvador Dali, that we know of surrealism and all that, there were women who had been talking about surrealism much at the same time, perhaps. So many things have come over, like now we find that. Now, when we dig into the history of films and women's representation there, Then we get to know what is happening or what had happened and how we have closed those chapters and women have disappeared from history of film. Uh, Now that we have this women's sessions in the festival, we recall those and we pay our tribute to those who have started the movement, have been part of the movement, have been part and parcel of this. Perhaps they were makers, not investors as such. Who knows? Maybe they were producers in those times, but we do not know of that. They have not been chronicled in the history. But nevertheless, now we have come a long way, it seems, and 100 years and more. I just want to, I'm taking time, I'm sorry. Yeah, but this, before I come to address Nisha's paper, thanks to her for having given us such a wonderful paper, a good remembrance. I mean, she triggered my feelings towards to refer to the history of films and women there. So I would like to say this much that my mother was a devout watcher of films. She was born in the late 20s, and then, she had been goer, cinegoer, and in those times, and she had been, I would say, um, every ticket's not, but she never missed any film. And whatever was made, she had no idea that her daughter would turn out to be a filmmaker someday. But then, whatever was provided, she had no framework as such. She would just watch the films made by men and women, whether objectified or not, she loved watching it. Later on, as um, I'm referring to her because women were audiences mostly. Little did they know that there were women who were aspiring or somehow struggling to enter the sphere, the male-dominated sphere of films. And there was a struggle, that continuous struggle. Now that many are chronicling, and even though we fall short in numbers all over the world, still we find names today. But till the 70s, there was a doldrum. And somehow we find lesser women participating in filmmaking, or maybe their status is peripheral, very marginalized in terms of films. But as the 70s took over with women really participating in every sphere, mostly almost at every sphere of, I would say, economy and all kind of work and social and political arenas, definitely cinema couldn't be far behind. Women still do not represent as they are supposed to in the sphere of cinema, I would say, because because we have still we are inhibited that some cinema, well, just because it's called a entertainment dominated here, so there are restrictions from the family. They believe that being a doctor and an engineer is much more laudable than being a woman or an editor or any other in all the spheres, all the aspects that cinema contains. Being part of it is still not degrading as such, but not appreciated, not esteemed as much as other spheres. I'm mentioning this because even I would say that we do not watch films with a critical eye still. Most there are, like, we had been those who had started looking at the craft differently, identifying the
I did.
much sexuality and other aspects, those that framework or that that focus has now spread over. It's spreading over. And now the men also get to somehow they also look at it from the framework that women, like the male gaze, has been identified. So now men are also have shifted their focus differently. You'll find that we do not have the great number of critics, film critics. Women do not, there are elsewhere, but I mean in Bangladesh still we're falling short of it. But definitely it is developing. I would say we have Sadia Khaled Riti here, who had been, they have a framework, we have a definite focus, and the critical eye is there with regard to the craft, with regard to the making of it, the finesse and everything that is counted. So having taken I address this because this is very important. That is how you develop your the creative aspect of film. And we who claim to be independent filmmakers somehow try to, just because we do not have the pressure of any house as such, so we give more importance to these aspects, like the creativity and being cautious about, the sexual representation and the sexuality where, and to avoid the male gaze. So all combined, it's a now when the women's, a section has also been introduced. Every, I would say, since the festivals, have been the places of empowerment in a way, so they have a women's section also. Now, it's not just tokenism, I would say, because, it has become a reality that many women are coming in. We have a new set of young women makers who are not only they have made their debut, but also influencing others, participating in outside the. They have represented. They have gone over to. Participate in festivals outside Bangladesh, and they're talking about it, thinking about it, eating film. So I think we have come a long way, and this inclusion, politics of inclusion, is in. Now, we women in larger numbers are here to uh, enter. But I would say that film, we have to have more women come into the technicalities which have evolved over the years, and to also be in this art in a larger number. Thank you so much for the organizers have been trying to encourage women uh, with the sections that they have introduced in the festival Bangladesh. This is the biggest festival in Bangladesh. So thank you so much, Mustafa Zamal, and all of you who are here, Ishwar, Kamal, and all those who are early morning. And it's a working day, but so many are present here. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
From the audience, anyone wants to speak?
I just want to point something. Yeah. Yeah. The state of Kerala in India, they have since 2 years started a fund called Women Fund, and per annum they are going to release 3 crores. So that's how Kerala has right now maximum number of women filmmakers. So what is important is every state has to fund or patronize. I mean, even if there are young women in Bangladesh, they want to make films or to tell their stories. Most important thing is funding. So I would really urge upon states who really want to patronize cinema and cinema as an art, or cinema as helping the culture. We must have such kind of a funding from the government, some kind of a patronization. Thank you.
In fact, in Maharashtra government, I mean, they have a lot of films for the Marathi film. I know many of my friends who is making Marathi film, because they said in all India, the Maharashtra government has a lot of funds for that, to promote the Marathi film.
Yeah. Most states now are giving subsidy, and Marathi started. That's why they have 100 films, per year. And they're right now in so many Marathi films that they're queuing for the subsidy for 1 year, 2 years. But there is no special fund for women. Like I have revived a Orissa subsidy now, because I had made a film with subsidy when I had availed the subsidy. Now we have started. But
Yeah.
women funding is important, like Kerala. I think we must have some kind of funding dedicated to women. So that encourages every family, like suppose a woman is studying cinema, the family would say, okay, you go and get married. But once there is fund available, they would not mind if you have a story to tell and you apply for the fund. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
You are from
that's.
India, so you have big influence with the India government.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. I'm just trying to do that. The women, special funding for women, or special subsidy for women. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think the Indians, there's some regional government, like
Yeah.
in
Assam is doing, and yeah.
the West Bengal government, especially Mamata Banerjee, is a
Yeah.
very fond of cinema.
Yeah.
She's care of the Indian Kolkata Film Festivals and others. And I remember I was once I was in IFFI. It was in Bangalore. I saw
Yeah.
Mr. Bangarappa was the chief minister.
Yeah.
It was tremendous. I mean, the support they gave the local government. I mean, local. I
Yeah.
mean, state government. This is really very interesting. The state government has a lot of fun, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, we have the central government. So
Yeah. Yeah.
one thing, uh, the funding from resource from all from one pocket. So that's the main problem. So this film doesn't get that much priority, and for the especially for the female filmmaker. I mean, there's no like women. We have a women corporation and some porishad or some society, some sort of government body, but they have a different agenda, not for the filmmakers, not from the. I mean, patronizing the female filmmakers. That's the thing.
No, they
Anyway,
must dedicate some fund. They have to dedicate some fund to women. First of all, cinema should be considered a part of the culture ministry. So if the culture ministry takes initiative, I think it is possible to do that. Even in USA, that Meryl Streep has started women fund. So if I was born in America, or I was an American citizen, it would have been easier for me to make a film. I have been just struggling to make a film, because the funds are the most important thing. So I think Kerala, but Karnataka government is giving a subsidy to every film, 15 lakhs. And if it is based on literature, they are giving 18 lakhs. So that
mhm.
means by that way, they are promoting literature.
Okay.
Literature is also part of, cinema.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vijay. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for adding all these things. Yeah. Now I'd like to request Sadia Khalid wrap up the whole sessions, and she's a film critic and she's a journalist, and she's a part of the Dhaka International Film Festival. Especially, she's taking care of the women in West Meet East program, where it will be tomorrow for our young filmmakers who need support for international arena, like submitting the films for funding, distributions, and then everything. The whole thing is it will be tomorrow morning and Bangladesh time at 10 o'clock, I think. 10:30. All right. So tomorrow at 10:30 Bangladesh Standard Time it will start. Vijay, you can join also by our program. Yeah, Riti.
I
everyone. Hi, Vijay. How are you?
Hi, hi.
See you virtually. So, going back to the topic, I actually had some questions, but since Nisha has already left, her dad is in the hospital, so maybe I can throw it to you or our panelists here.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. So, the topic was role of film festivals and social media to empower and encourage women. So, if we talk about film festivals, we have a great example here. We have the women's conference, we have the women filmmakers section. Even in the paper I presented in the morning, some of you missed it, but we were talking about virtual reality and how women's representation there. Even there, we saw how the festivals are actually creating the level playing field that we don't have outside of the festival circuit. Because you see, when the business people are thinking about maximizing profits, they're making the content for the consumers of VR who happen to be mostly men. But when it comes to the festivals, the curation is such that they put the human story first, and that's why the female representation is almost similar to the male representation. It's no longer a tokenism, like Shamimapo was saying. So definitely, film festivals are a great platform for women to achieve the equality. And in terms of social media, uh, Nisha said something about TikTok. I don't know how TikTok would empower or encourage women because I tried to the homepage. It couldn't keep me interested for 5 minutes because it was. So I don't know. I would like to ask her that question, or if some TikTok users are here, maybe they could take this question. And
I don't think so. I also said that, I don't think so. That would help. But the social media surely, Sadia, uh, Angelina Jolie has spoken about this Afghani film, Hawa Mariam Aisha, and that has given her a great boost. So we just awarded that film in November, and by Sahara Karami, and Angelina Jolie had just tweeted about it. So we can, it's possible to boost. Yeah.
yeah, please continue.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, that social media is a very strong medium where you can promote your film, or take it to an international forum. It's easier, it's much easier.
Another thing that enlightened us from this paper was the balance of viewership of women in Nepal, which is excellent. It's almost 50-50, both in theaters and also online. So that's great. And I wanted to talk about another thing, and I think Bijoy can address this. Both of you talked about the casting couch, and I know it's a very personal thing to you, and we'll understand if you don't want to talk about it here. But how does the social media or film festivals help us to overcome this problem, this particular problem?
Well, you saw that. What happened to Harvey Weinstein. He is in the jail. So the social media and the press, really. Otherwise, he was doing this kind of molestation since 2 decades. So I think now people are scared. People are scared of meeting. I mean, not in India, but at least in America. Like if I go to talk, meet a producer, say Sony Classics, I mean, they would just keep a distance and meet me, because they know that, they cannot mix business with pleasure, and they would be doomed. So, but that has happened a lot in, USA, as you have been there. So that has happened definitely in USA, but in India or in Asian countries, maybe it will take time. But definitely here, Anurag Kashyap had a partner who was dropped. I mean, his film was dropped. I don't remember his name. There was a molestation case against him. Vikash Bahel or somebody like that. I'm not remembering. His film was dropped by Mami Film Festival. Mami Film Festival CEO is a woman. So obviously, if we are in the like I advise film festivals. So if I am curating films or I am advising films, then I would see to it that such terrible men or who are predators should be banned. I mean, we can do that on that level. And but as far as generating work is concerned, India has this problem, excepting in certain enlightened states, I would say. I mean, where women, the society is matriarchal, like in the eastern zone, it's not rampant, like Assam, Orissa, Bengal, Manipur, but definitely, southern zone, and Bollywood, it has such problems. Even right now, if I go to, I'm not able to make a film from private funder, because the moment I go there to ask about funding, then then what are you doing in the evening? I mean, and can you come with me? Just let's meet. So it's still there, but we have to fight. That's why I insist upon funding by the state. Funding by the state is the only way you can overcome these predators. You do not need them. So I have right now revived our subsidiary in Orissa, so that I do not have to go to any Bollywood investor or say like a National Film Corporation. When you have National Film Corporation, then of course there is a kind of a procedure. There are people, like for an FDC or every state government film development corporation, then you will never have such. It is bound to happen. Or you have fund, like Berlin has got a world fund, World Cinema Fund. So unfortunately, they have not included India. Otherwise, I would have applied this year. But they have Bangladesh, they have Afghanistan, they have Nepal. So it's amazing for you people right now. I mean, you can apply to World Cinema Fund in Berlin. So there are so we have to just find out, such opportunities. I met a filmmaker from New York, and she's from Ghana, and she made a film, and that was there in Bangalore Film Festival, and she went to Robert De Niro's Tribeca funding, and there is a women fund which patronized by Meryl Streep. So she got her, $200,000-$300,000. I think that's good enough to make a small film. So we have to, we need such kind of patronization. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we'd like to open the floor to questions if anyone wants to ask anything. Just raise your hand real quick. Or we can talk during the tea break, no problem. Yeah. Okay, then thank you so much. Thanks to all the speakers. We're really happy to have you with us. And thanks to all the audiences, even in the pandemic, for being with us. And we'll see you shortly after a half-hour break. And Bija, you can feel free to join us virtually even then.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Bye. Bye.
Our next session is 2 o'clock in Bangladesh Standard Time. Sydney Levin is going to present the keynote paper, and our partner film festival in Norway, Haugesund Film Festival, IDA, is going to be connected, and also from European Union, Beryl Maleka is going to be connected, and our Bangladeshi filmmaker Aka Reza Galib, aka Reza Galib, he's going to be joined, and Mr. Mafidul Haq is going to preside this session. Very important segments about the case study made in Bangladesh, the film made by Rubaiyat, the topics. So please be connected at 2 o'clock in Bangladesh time. So we want your you can join. I mean, you can participate, and if you have any question, you can also ask. Anybody from any part of the world can join us. Anyway, thank you. See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Vijaya. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.